Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. I bid to everyone today. Thank you to each and every one of you for spending time with us today for our 10th anniversary of the Islamic Renaissance Front since conception. Firstly, I would thank our director of Islamic Renaissance Front, Dr. Farouk Musa, for organising this event. So today we will be launching our book, Antologi Seminar Pemikiran Reformis Jilid 1, subsequently followed by the Forum of Islamic Reform Revisited. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude to our distinguished guests whom join us today, Tan Sri Prof Zulkifli Abdul Razak, Director of IIUM, Prof James Piscatori, the Deputy Director of and the Professor at Australian National University, Prof Jeffrey Kenney, Professor of Religious Studies at DePauw University, Dr. Azhar Ibrahim, Deputy Head of Department of Malay Studies at NUS Singapore, and will be joining us YB Saari Sungib, ADUN Hulu Kelang. Okay. So our theme for today would be the Islamic Reform Revisited. Okay, so Islamic Renaissance Front have been one of the voices of Islamic reform in Malaysia for the past 10 years. We have been advocating the ideas of Jamāluddīn al-Afghāni, Muhammad Abduh, and also one of my favorite thinkers, Muhammad Iqbal. Okay, there are a few of Iqbal ideas that I like to share with us today, and few quotes from the book and few Quranic verses that Iqbal took and he developed his ideas from the Quranic verses. One of it is, verily God will not change the condition of us till of us human beings till we change what is in ourselves. Okay, so this Islamic reform is actually an effort for us to change our condition, the fatal condition that have plagued the Islamic community. Okay, and then to my mind, nothing is more alien to the Quranic outlook than the idea that the universe is the temporal working out of a preconceived plan. Okay, this idea of because when we see this, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit skeptic, but some PU or Da'i speaking, or even some religious ustad or authority speaking of takdir and how everything that have happened in the world is planned by God, and as if we are only robots that cannot do anything with our own condition. Okay, and another one is the future certainly pre-exists in the organic whole of God's creative life, but it exists as an open possibility, not a fixed order of event with definite outlines. Means we are also the creator of our own destiny. Okay. And the last one would be the closing of the door of ijtihad is pure fiction, suggested partly by the crystallization of legal thoughts in Islam and partly by the intellectual laziness which in the period of spiritual decay have turned thinkers into idle. So it have made us very we are not exerting the maximum amount of force in which our predecessor Muslim thinkers have been doing. Okay. Without further ado, I will invite the first speaker for today, which will also launch our book, Tan Sri Professor Zulkifli Abdul Razak. So a bit on Tan Sri Professor Zulkifli. He is Director of the International Islamic University of Malaysia. He was the 5th Vice Chancellor, President of USM from 2000 to 2011, a member of WHO, expert advisory panel on drug policy and management, and WHO Scientific Committee of Tobacco Product Regulation. And he was also the first Asian to receive the prestigious 2017 Gilbert Medal and the 7th internationally from Universitas 21. 2021, a group of renowned research-intensive university focused on fostering global citizenship and encouraging institutional innovation. Among a few, he was also awarded the 2017 Tokoh Akademik Negara, National Academic Laureate, and a recipient of a number of honorary doctorates from various international universities. His latest major scholarly contributions are the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Leadership Dilemma and Voicing Concerns, published in 2018. Another contribution is Nurturing a Balanced Person, the Leadership Challenge, which won the Anugerah Buku Negara 2016 award. So without further ado, I would like to invite Tan Sri Professor Zulkifli to launch our book today and initiate the event.
Assalamualaikum. Greeting of peace and a very good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much for being here. I am very honored to be invited, although I'm the least person qualified to launch the book, I guess. Just by listening to my very short CV tells you that I'm not an Islamic scholar, I'm not a religious scholar, and I happen to be the rector of IUM, and therefore that probably be the reason that I'm here. Nevertheless, I'm very happy to be here to launch a book, because I think writing a book and giving perspective on new things as far as book writing is concerned is something that we should be doing in the university. And particularly from IRF, I know they've been very, very active in this, and congratulate you for your 10th anniversary, for surviving for so long, given the dilemma, given the whole issue that we are facing in the Islamic world. And I think your NGOs or your organization has been contributing a lot as far as Islamic reform is concerned. I'm not going to talk about the book that I mentioned to Prof. Farouk. I have not any inkling of what the book is all about. But nevertheless, this whole idea of reformation or reform, I think, is something which is relevant to us. And I want to bring another perspective of this reform, being a science person, to look at reform from the different point of view, given the issues that we Muslims are facing in the world today. It is coincidental, perhaps. There is a United Nations Climate Change Conference now happening in Madrid, the COP25. And I am very, very aware that the Muslim views on issues of this nature are not in the mainstream. Apart from a few people, I think, involved in this kind of conferences, I think we have no quote-unquote influence on the perspective, the worldview of what these all mean to us as Muslim and the Islamic world as such. And therefore, I feel this is a time for us to also look at a different dimension of how we should be representing the Islamic view, the Islamic worldview, in the context of what's happening around us. Climate change, global warming is one of those, but it's also mentioned by the MC just now, the question of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the AI, and all those things I think now are very pervasive in Malaysia at least, and I'm sure in many parts of the world, that we are not very sure of where we are heading in the context of this new development on technology. The little that I've read as far as the 4IR is concerned, we will be meeting a point called the singularity before the year 2015. And the point of singularity is where the artificial intelligence will supersede human intelligence. And at that particular point, it was said that there will be a new species called the transhuman or the posthuman. And what is this posthuman and transhuman as far as Islam is concerned? I think none of us will have an inkling of what this is all about. And then until and unless we dwell deeper into this, we will be caught, at least the younger generation will be caught in a new dilemma that we are totally unprepared for. Already, if you read the dialogue or the discourse on the internet among the transhumanists, they call it. Yeah? One of them claimed, and I've met them in one seminar, and one of them claimed that we will be more superior, or we'll be more intelligent than the total human beings combined, and some of them said they are even more powerful than God. These are statements that come out perhaps anecdotally, but we need to look at these statements and find out where is Islam in this particular context before we are caught in a discussion that we are ill-informed about. Therefore, as you talk about reform, I would like to suggest we also open up another avenue to look at issues that is now emerging very quickly, that we need to get in touch with and find out what the Islamic perspective on this. And being the rector of IIUM, I think this university is responsible to open up this new window so that all of us begin to contribute and build a substantial knowledge as how we interpret some of these issues that we are going to face in, if we talk about 2050, be more less than one generation from now. 2020, we've got 30 years to go. So I hope IRF will probably lead this. Certainly IIUM will want to be involved with this kind of issues. There are many other issues. At least now in IIUM we are quite settled on the issue of sustainable development or sustainable development goals. I think the last 1 year we've been talking about this, and inshallah next year we hope to come up with a book, Maqasid Syariah and Sustainable Development, given a perspective of how Islam look at sustainable development, where is Maqasid Syariah and all the other worldviews as far as Islam is concerned in the context of environmental change or whatever that is related to sustainable development, the 17 goals. Yeah? Indeed, we are also planning to introduce an 18th goal on spiritual knowledge and indigenous wisdom. This is now been talked about with UNESCO, whether UNESCO is willing to look at this as a contribution from the different part of the world into issues that have not been settled as far as sustainable development is concerned. So I applaud this particular forum of looking at reform, revisiting it, but also injecting new ideas and giving new platforms so that other generations and other worldview can be accommodated as we enlarge this to ensure that the future generations will be a sustainable one, at least with the contribution of Islamic scholars at the same time. So on that note, I would like to thank you once again. I'm very happy to launch this book, and I hope this book will be another platform for this course, looking at what is possible and how do you make amends of what we have done before and making it right and moving into the future. So on that note, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.